of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our meeting. Going to ask our co-clerk to call the roll.
Chairwoman Chappelle.
Here.
Board Member Frost.
Here.
Board Member Wondolowski.
Here.
Board Member Hastings.
Here.
Okay, welcome everybody to our meeting. We've got a fairly robust meeting today. We'll get started, and I will move to acknowledge the Secretary of State directives and advisories as follows. We've got Directive 2016-30. There are instructions regarding the review, examination, and verification of clerk petitions, proposing the initiated Drug Price Relief Act to Ohio, filed pursuant to the case that's identified below. I think we were required to report the sufficiency of the signatures on September 2nd. But anyways, that's that directive, Directive 2016-31, regarding ballots and candidates for our upcoming November 8 general election, with the certified form of ballot for the election. Directive 2016-32, regarding writing candidates for President and Vice President U.S. Senator, and the list of ballot write-ins provided pursuant to that directive. Advisory 2016-04, which is the Electronic Registration Information Center, and Advisory 2016-05, regarding the Safe at Home Address Confidentiality Program that's just been signed into law. Second, any discussion on any of these items?
Madam Chair, if I could have Brent come up and speak to one of the directives regarding the issue that we had last time with validating the price relief and the directive that basically requires us to the board to indicate a threshold of the amount of signatures that is written into the blank spot to those that are actually signed. So we've been talking about that internally, and we really have to come up with a solution. Yeah, we want to see what other counties, how they are interpreting it. Do you want to add to that, Brent?
Sure. Brent Law, Manager, Canada Petition Services. On the supplemental petitions that we got 2 weeks ago on the directives that you see here, that issue came up. If you guys have it, it's on page 2, just before the footnotes, under the exception. It's 2016-30.
Which section are you referring to?
Page 2.
Verify, there's B.
No, it's A.
Oh,
The very bottom is the exception
okay.
before the footnotes.
Oh, I see the exception. Thank you.
So the exception, the procedure for the boards of elections throughout 16 yards of here is, if you witness more signatures on a petition than you actually have, then you accept that petition. As you guys recall, you had a hearing months ago regarding the drug relief, and that's when the Secretary of State came out and said that that's fraudulent, you can't overstate the number. So now in this directive, he comes out and he uses an exception that over-reporting an error is a result of minor or negligent miscount by the circulator, so long as there's no indication of fraud or material misrepresentation. When we got the petitions 2 weeks ago for this directive, we had no issues at all, and I gathered the director's office contacted other counties and nobody else had them either. We have new petitions now for the ones that go to the November ballot next year. There's 16,000 signatures. We've gone through 3 of the 6 boxes. We don't currently have any issues on that either. But we would like some direction, because we've all talked about it. What is the threshold? What is the threshold of minor or negligent miscounts? We kind of all agree that if you have, and we have this issue now, is that you have 28 signatures on a petition. They mark 28, but they're marking out blank. They're crossing lines out, but maybe they're out of the county. So we know that when they signed that petition as a circulator, they had 28 signatures, even though they're crossing it out. We don't believe that's negligent, because we actually can see originally 28 signatures. Our problem is, though, if you mark 28 signatures and you only have 19 actually on the petition, and the others are blank lines, is that negligent? We can't interpret what the circulator is saying. So we've bantered about setting a specific number. or a percentage. But we just got an AG petition that only had 9 signatures, 9 spots on it. So we thought, well, if you're going to pick a number of 3 for all petitions, 3 out of 9 is sort of totally different than 3 out of 28. So we don't know that the whole number is the answer to go. So now we're thinking of doing a percentage. But what's a legitimate percentage? It's 10% too high, it's 5% too high.
Well, the footnote cites to the actual case. I mean, do we have is there anything in the case that actually, in the decision, that gives meaning to negligent or minor or negligent miscounts? I mean, we only have the guidance that's provided in the case, so we might have to, and I apologize. First of all, let me just say for the record, I recused myself from this discussion because of a potential conflict when this was done before. So depending on, how much discussion we have today, I'm going to do the same thing.
For that particular petition?
For this particular issue, because of representation we have of a number of drug companies.
Okay.
So I had recused myself before because I didn't want there to be any appearance of impropriety. But, for just this preliminary discussion, I'm happy to participate in that for now. And I don't know that we're in a position to give that kind of guidance today.
I wasn't
or
expecting that.
Oh, okay. So this is just an issue that
Yeah.
you're teeing up for us. So the directive speaks to a September 2nd deadline. Did I misread that? I thought there was a September 2nd deadline that we had to
There was.
attest to the sufficiency of the signatures.
That was the petitions for that was the supplemental ones that the Supreme Court told them they can file the additional 6,000 signatures. Those are done and long gone. Those are the ones that-
Okay, sorry, okay.
But now we have an additional ones that were delivered to us yesterday that have 60,000 signatures and that we're going through. So I think we as a management team yesterday decided that we'd like to present it to you today, have Brendan look at the lawsuit and come up with whatever he leans. In the meantime, Pat and Tony suggested that the registration management team, the CPS management team, anything that's a discrepancy, we sit down as the 4 of us and we work it through ourselves.
Any board members have any thoughts or concerns or questions, or we just want to wait for, we've been duly informed, I think everybody's been duly informed, and we'll just wait for additional information. Unless board members have any questions or additional comments?
I just have a comment. I quickly pulled up the case they cited, and what they referred to in paragraph 8 is that what they did is brought the circulators in to explain the problem. There was a reasonable explanation, and so therefore that was the tool they used to determine whether it was material or not, and that could be it. And I think we should discuss it more, but I would be at the figure, it needs to be a percentage to be relative, as well as probably 10% or something, only because beyond a reasonable doubt, in criminal laws, 90-95%. So I figured, for lack of any other direction, I would pick 10%. You get below that, it becomes a little more, clear and convincing type evidence, or beyond the preponderance of the evidence. So I think if you're within a 10% scope, you're probably okay. If it gets to that area, maybe you bring people in and start getting comments from them and seeing what the explanations are. Those are just my thoughts on the issue.
The other thought I would have is, you see systemic, whole slew of petitions where there's 28 blank lines, 28 potential signatures, number 28 is written on reams and reams of petitions, and there's all kinds of different numbers, whether they're 6 or 20 or 15 or 18, it just appears they go through.